All right, guitar players, welcome. Today, we are plugging in and taking a serious deep dive into the sound of a true modern J-rock icon, MAMI, the incredible lead guitarist from the band Scandal. We're going to tear down her rig piece by piece and really get into the philosophy behind her killer tone.
You know, this one quote just nails it, doesn't it? This is the line that MAMI walks so perfectly. Her playing is super catchy, totally melodic, but there's always this bite to it. It's an edge that lets her slice right through the mix and give Scandal that signature rock energy. And that balance, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to define what that edgy pop sound really is. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, her guitars, her amps, and of course, her pedals. After that, we dive into the real secret sauce, her whole mindset and philosophy. And we'll wrap it all up with some key lessons you can take straight to your own rig.
Okay, let's get right into it. What exactly makes a guitar part scream MAMI? I mean, it's so much more than just the notes she's playing. It's really about the texture, you know? It's about the space she decides to fill within the band's total sound. Think of it like this. Her job is to weave these really cool, intricate guitar lines around Haruna's super solid rhythm playing. And to do that, her tone has to be clear. It has to be defined. We're not talking about a giant wall of high-gain mud here. It's about crafting parts that have real power, but also have room to breathe, whether that's a clean, sparkly arpeggio or a crunchy, in-your-face solo.
So you can't talk about tone without talking about guitars, right? The instrument in your hands is always the starting point. So let's check out MAMI's main tools, because her choices here tell us a whole lot about her sound.
First up is her signature Stratocaster, and it's the perfect place to start. It's loaded with Texas special pickups, and if you know those, you know they're a little hotter than your typical vintage single coils. So what does that mean? It means she gets all that classic Strat spank and sparkle, but with just enough extra oomph to really push her pedals into that awesome edgy crunch.
Now this is where things get really cool and creative. Check out this Squire model. She took the super comfortable offset body of a Jazzmaster and then loaded it with Strat pickups. It's kind of the best of both worlds. She gets the feel she wants from the body, but the classic, snappy tone she needs from the pickups. It's proof that you should never, ever be afraid to tweak your gear to make it your own.
Ah, the HSS Strat. This is her secret weapon, her workhorse. I mean, think about it. With just the flick of a switch, she can go from a glassy, clean single-coil sound for a verse to a fat, roaring humbucker for a huge chorus or a blistering solo. For a band like Scandal that plays so many different styles of songs, that kind of versatility is absolutely everything.
And then there's this absolute stunner, the White Falcon. Now, it's not her #1 guitar, but it shows something really important about her approach. Always use the right tool for the job. When a song calls for that big, airy, almost acoustic resonance that you can only get from a hollow body, she grabs this beauty. It all comes back to serving the song.
Okay, so we've covered the guitars. The next stop, naturally, is the amplifier. And this is key. For MAMI, the amp isn't really for getting all our distortion. Instead, it's all about creating a big, beautiful, and reliable clean foundation, a clean canvas that she can then paint on with her pedals. Her love for Fender amps, especially the Hot Rod Deluxe, tells you everything you need to know. Anyone who's ever plugged into one of those knows they are famous for loud, gorgeous clean tones with tons of headroom. This gives her that perfect, clean canvas. Her core sound is right there, coming from the amp, and her pedals become the paint she uses to add all the different colors and textures.
So, this leads us to the big question for any guitarist, right? You've got your guitar, you spent the time dialing in that perfect, pristine, clean tone on your amp. So what's next? How do you get the edge, the personality, the dynamics? Well, my friends, the answer is usually right there on the floor.
This is it. This is where all the personality gets injected into her sound. And what's interesting is her pedal board isn't some ridiculously complicated spaceship. Nope, it's a super carefully selected toolbox where every single pedal has a very specific job to do.
And man, her choices are just classic, rock-solid workhorses. The Boss BD2 Blues Driver is a masterclass in touch-sensitive overdrive. She can get anything from a little clean boost to a nice light grit to a full-on screaming lead just by changing how hard she picks. The Holy Grail adds that beautiful space, and then you've got the Phase 90 and the Line 6 M9 as her wild cards for adding all that cool texture and movement.
Look, we can sit here and drool over gear all day, And trust me, I love to. But that's only half the story. To really truly get Mami's sound, you have to understand her entire approach. You have to get inside her philosophy. This right here, this is the secret. So many of us guitarists get obsessed with our tone in a vacuum, right? We're in our bedroom dialing in this monster sound that's amazing all by itself. But Mami is always thinking about the big picture. She's thinking about scandal. How does my part fit with the bass, the drums, the vocals, the other guitar? That's the real question. You can pretty much break her whole method down into these 4 steps. 1. Start with that killer clean tone we talked about. 2. Use your drive pedals to create different levels of intensity, not just on or off. 3. Add emotion with stuff like reverb and delay. But number 4 is the one that separates the good players from the truly great ones. Listen. Always be listening to the rest of the band.
I mean, that quote just says it all, doesn't it? She's not just a guitar player in a band. She's a sonic architect for the whole group. She's not just playing her parts, she's helping to build the band's entire soundscape. And that is a lesson that every single musician, no matter what you play, should take to heart. Okay, let's bring it all home. We've taken apart the gear, we've looked at the mindset, so what are the big takeaways? What can you learn from all this to help you find your own unique voice on the guitar? All right, here we go. First, make that clean tone your #1 priority. It's your canvas. A versatile guitar, like that HSS Strat, gives you a whole palette of colors to work with. Remember to use overdrive as a tool for texture, not just for cranking the gain. And most importantly, start thinking like a producer. Always ask, how does this serve the song? And hey, get weird, get creative. Her jazz master proves that mixing and matching classic ideas can lead to something brand new. If you remember one single thing from our time together today, please let it be this. You can go out and buy every single piece of gear we've talked about, but if you don't have the philosophy of listening and serving the music first, you're going to miss the magic. The real secret to amazing guitar tone is, and always will be, musicality. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. After hearing Mami's approach, what's the very first thing you're going to try with your own playing? Are you going to simplify your pedal board? Are you going to spend an afternoon just dialing in the perfect clean tone? Or maybe, just maybe, are you going to listen a little closer to your bandmates at your next practice? The journey to your own sound starts right now.